What is up, Edison Duelists? This is Dionysus, aka YungPuntz, coming at you guys on this splendid Saturday with some more shameless, hypebeast, gigavice content. Now, I want to talk to you guys today about something very near and dear to my heart, and that is salt. You could say that the story of human history is the story of salt. We have early Neolithic salt production, as evidenced by archaeologists going back some 6,000 years before the birth of Christ. And in the 1800s, the salt mines in Britain were huge producers of salt that was transported the world over. Now, today, salt is still produced, and in fact, one of the most productive salt mines is in fact the Edison Format Q on Dueling Book. And I had two very, very rich salt veins that I struck in my mining yesterday, and I want to share them with you guys so you get your daily dose of sodium chloride. So let's jump into this first game. This is against Vayu, against our lovely Italian opponent, Pali Alvento. Shout out to all my Italians. Please be sure to tell me how good I am at pronouncing that player's username. So we open a relatively mid-hand, all things considered, so we're just going to set a threatening roar and pass. I'm not committing the Raigeki break yet. I kind of want to see what my opponent is up to. I want to maybe draw into an SSN. That's also why I'm not firing the hidden armory right away. And I don't want to like Raigeki break, discard the nettles, and lose an SSN opportunity. I don't want to hit an armory, mill an SSN, anything like that. Instead, we hit a dust shoot. So I'm saying, okay, that's fine. We'll just set the dust shoot. And I am going to hold the dust shoot until standby phase, and then we're going to go ahead and fire it. I look at the opponent's hand, and I see that they are on Vayu Turbo. I consider all of my options here. And while Plague is a little tempting to get rid of, Siraku Vayu, we can handle that. The Nimble Hamster, that seems to be the biggest problem in these kind of slow open board states like this. When I don't have anything going, Hamster can really be a pretty dangerous advantage engine, so I want to get that taken care of and out of the way. Our opponent is going to go ahead and flip up the Raiko. We're going to go ahead and chain the Threatening Roar. He's going to mill 3. Doesn't really hit anything good. That's fantastic for us. And he is going to go ahead and summon the Plague Spreader Zombie, think about Synchro Summoning, and then decide to instead just pass. I think he's afraid of Gores, or he realizes that he's under Threatening Roar. Definitely an interesting play. I'm not sure why he took it back, but you know, we're just having fun. I'm not gonna call someone out on that. You know, this isn't a big tournament with prizing on the line. It's you know, it's not the end of the world. I'm a chill guy, right? So here we do draw a DDR, and at this point I'm saying, okay, it's time to commit a little bit, and I'm gonna fire the Hidden Armory to get to the Mark of the Rose, and then I'm going to set the Raigeki break and the Threatening Roar. It's not the best at all, but sometimes there's lines where you have like a tuner and you have Mark DDR, no plans engrave, and you just have to Raigeki break to interrupt something key, and then Mark of the Rose takes something DDR to bring back the tuner. So I'm not super stoked on this, of course, but that could be what I need to do to survive. He's going to drop everything into defense and then just summon out a Vayu and swing with that. Kind of, you know, prodding my back row, testing for various things. This isn't really a credible threat, so I am just going to go ahead and allow it. We're drawing a Dandelion for turn. That is a much better discard target for Raigeki break, so all at once our situation is definitely improving. He's going to fire a Lure, banish a Sirocco, summon a Greffer, discard the other Sirocco, and send a Necrogardna to the graveyard, and then just swing in for 800 and another 17. I am perfectly fine taking that damage. Once again, you know, I have my Threatening Roar for the future. I have a Raigeki break, so I don't feel like I'm necessarily about to lose. I do draw another Supervise, and so now it's really just a matter of, okay, you know, find the Foolish Burial, find the Lone Fire, find the SSN, and then we can go ahead and really go off. Here, our opponent is going to make a Thought Ruler Archfiend, which is, I think that's an interesting choice. He is going to go ahead and run into a threatening roar, and he's going to very confidently go ahead and solemn judgment to negate that, to try and push in for game. So we're going to take 800 from the Vayu, and then he's going to go ahead and Dust Tornado. I think he's thinking maybe it's a deep prison or something like that at this time. And now we are going to just go ahead and Raigeki Break to clear the Kaiku, and that is going to let us survive with plenty of life points. He's not going to gain any life points for running over a Dandy token. And now it is going to be our turn. We just have a Dimensional Prison to worry about, not too bad. And even better, we do draw a Heavy Storm to answer that. So now we have a really fantastic line here. We are just going to Mark of the Rose, banishing the Dandelion, stealing the Vayu. Can't steal the Thought Ruler Archfiend, unfortunately. And then we are going to DDR, discarding one of those supervises. Always feels bad, but it was doing absolutely nothing in our hand. And then we are going to sink row 6 for Goyo Guardian. And this is going to put up a little more defense for us with these tokens. And then Goyo is also going to threaten to steal the Thought Ruler Archfiend. He does have the Necro Gardna, but we now definitely have the stronger board. There's lots that he could top deck here, admittedly. Caius is a big problem, Brain Control even. But there's also a lot that he could top deck that is just going to do absolutely nothing. And Charge of the Light Brigade is going to be one of those nothing cards. So he's going to go ahead and fire Charge of the Light Brigade. He'll get a Raikou, so he has some defense coming. And of course, he is going to run over both of our tokens. That is totally fine. He'll set the Raikou and pass it back to us. We are going to draw Gigaplant, which is just about a perfect draw for this situation. We are just going to be able to hard summon the Gigaplant, tributing over that Vayu that we did get back. Gigaplant can summon back Nettles. That can make us a Stardust Dragon to answer the Raikou, and then we can bring back Gigaplant. So Goyo is going to run over Thought Ruler Archfiend. We will happily take that to have an even stronger board. Stardust is going to attack into the Raikou. He's going to choose to just mill, and then Gigaplant is going to swing in for 2400. And now it is going to be our opponent's turn. And what can he find to get out of this? A return from the different dimension is not going to be enough. Even bringing back the Necro Gardna, that is only enough to stop 1, 2, 3 attacks, and we have 4 monsters. He is going to go ahead and fire the Vayu, summoning out an Armed Wing, and then go ahead and make a Plague Spreader zombie play. Going right on into maybe Colossal Fighter, but ultimately he decides that he has lost this game and is going to give us the GG. Honestly, you know, Colossal Fighter kind of would have been a little bit of a problem there. It would have been able to swing over the Goyo, would have been able to swing over all of our monsters, so definitely would have been a credible threat. But maybe he doesn't play Colossal Fighter. Maybe he just feels like he loses to every single top deck our deck can produce. No matter, we are going to go right into game 2. Here our opponent is opening perfectly strong with MST, D-Prison, Raikou. MST, a big problem for Gigavize. It is not just an answer to our back row, but it really can interrupt our entire combo. We are going to draw a Lightning Vortex and just pass. Here we are going to Gold Sark to banish a Lone Fire, finding our critical combo piece. Note that we played without Lone Fire last game, and we still managed to find the win. Here our opponent is going to Allure, banishing a Vayu. That's going to be perfectly fine with that Burial he's got going on. And then set a Royal Oppression. Very scary for us. Lots of problems that we are going to have to try and deal with. We are just going to set a Dandelion. I don't really want to discard any of these for hand size necessarily. And want to commit an MST to the board. This is post side, so I really want to be holding my MST to answer a Royal Oppression or a Mask of Restrict, or something like that, you know, folks. Here he's going to flip up the Raikou. That's going to destroy the Dandelion. We'll get our tokens. We are in stall mode. We don't have an SSN, so I can tell I'm going to lose the tokens, and it's not the end of the world. Here our opponent makes the very heads-up play of using Burial to put the Vayu that he banished off of Allure back in the grave, and then also move our Lone Fire Blossom out of the banish zone. You know, I gotta give it to our opponent here. Shout out to him. That is a really fantastic play. stopping me from getting my critical combo piece. So clearly a competent opponent. He is going to just pass, however, on the Plague Spreader Zombie and the Ryko. We are going to find our way to another gold sarcophagus, and for this one, we'll go ahead and banish Giant Trunade. I feel like I am not about to lose on the spot because there's no Sirocco in the grave just yet, and I don't want to commit a Miracle Fertilizer to bring back Lone Fire into not one, not two, but into 3 back row. That seems like a little bit much. Here he is going to go ahead and make Magical Android, swing at us for 400 and then 2400. And as much as I can hope that he decides to Black Rose main phase 2 to answer his back row for us, that just isn't realistic. He's going to set the Bottomless Trap Hole and then pass it off to us. We do draw a Lone Fire Blossom for turn, which is pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and Lightning Vortex, discarding the Gigaplant. And here, because we have the Trunade coming, and we have the Fertilizer, I'm going to go ahead and commit the 1 Lone Fire Blossom already, and just see what we can hit, kind of scout things out. I do see the Royal Oppression, so we're going to MST and get that out of the way, and that is going to let us stick a Titanial. He is going to Bottomless the Titanial. Bottomless banishes face up, not face down, folks. And we are then going to just pass. He's going to draw a Dark Grepher, which is a pretty strong draw here. And that is just going to be him swinging in directly with that. Not quite enough to push for game. He could definitely do a lot of damage. He could like discard the Gores, summon out a Armed Wing, and then make a Goyo. That would be a lot of damage, but still not quite enough. So very wisely, he is going to hold off. In standby phase, we are going to get that Giant Trunade back to our hand. We are going to fire the Giant Trunade, and now we are going to try and win the game. Here we go. So we'll bring back Lone Fire Blossom. Lone Fire is going to tribute itself to get a Gigaplant. We will give the Gigaplant the Supervise. We will summon back Lone Fire Blossom, bring out Copy Plant. Here we are going to Synchro 7 for a Power Tool Dragon. Let's see if we can hit that 66% roll. As you guys, I'm sure, are well aware, I think everyone's aware at this point, 66% is going to round up to 100%. So we will get that second Supervise, and indeed, of course, we do. We'll fire the Supervise using Gigaplant's effect again here to go ahead and get a Copy Plant. We will then make another Power Tool Dragon, bring back Gigaplant, fire Power Tool Dragon once more, this time revealing 2 DDR, which of course we do hit. We'll fire the Hidden Armory to get Supervise back. We'll equip Gigaplant with Supervise, fire Lone Fire Blossom to summon out Nettles, and then sync 8 for Stardust Dragon. I think Stardust is a little suspect here, especially with, the threat of Gores. It doesn't really make sense to go Stardust. I think you want to go Colossal Fighter, you want to go Brute Drago, something like that. Especially with the other Gigaplant here, I think Brute Drago would definitely be the correct play. So we'll hit in for 600, we will hit in for 23, and then our opponent is going to drop the Gores on us. Gigaplant is going to answer the Gores token, but that is still a big, giant Gores for us to worry about. He's going to draw a DD Crow, which is really a fantastic draw for him. Even on this last turn, if we had DDR'd for Titanial, that would also put us in a considerably better situation. Instead, Gores is going to run over the Gigaplant, and then main phase 2, our opponent is going to set a whole bunch of cards and pass it back to us. Here we do draw a Forbidden Chalice for turn. I'm going to go ahead and try and steal the Gores with Mark of the Rose. Our opponent is going to go ahead and let that through. That looks pretty good. We'll fire 1 Power Tool Dragon. I believe this is going to be our last activation. Yes, it is. We get one of either of our equips. We do hit a Mark of the Rose. That seems perfectly good to me. We are going to swing in for 2300, and again 2300. And then in damage step, when he allows that second 2300 to go through, we are going to go ahead and drop the Chalice. I'm sure at this point, he was planning on doing something like, he has MST on Mark of the Rose. Okay, I negate that with Stardust. Then he can Dimensional Prison the Gores, and then once Gores is banished, that's going to be a really strong return. So clearly he had a good plan there. It makes sense to let these 2 Power Tool attacks through, and he was not expecting the 2700. And now I know I do have chat blocked, But our opponent then decides to call us a certain word that is synonymous with slowed or delayed. He says that our deck is slowed or delayed, and that we are a slowed or delayed person. So, shout out to my opponent. And I also want to shout out this watcher here, Chi guy, she guy, not sure, actually dropped in my DMs after this match and apologized for my opponent's bad behavior on behalf of all Italians. And I would just like to make sure I make it very clear that I do, in fact, accept the apology. I am cool with Italians. I think you guys are great. I think your country is beautiful. I think your wine is really good. I would love to visit Italy one day. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Shout out to the Italians. You know, I've actually looked at my analytics, and Milan and Rome are the two cities that have the highest concentration of viewers. So if you are watching from Milan or if you are watching from Rome, I believe y'all call it Roma. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shout out to you guys. Very, very cool. Beautiful country, like I say. Big fan of the Italians. Even when they call my deck slowed or delayed and they call me slowed or delayed, doesn't bother me. I'd be pretty upset if my opponent hit me with the damage step chalice as well. So let's jump into this next game. This is against an opponent named Galaxy Star. I understand that Galaxy Star has done very well in some tournaments in the past. So shout out Galaxy Star. Let's hope we have a nice, good match. So we are going to start off very, very strong with a Lone Fire Supervised combo. You know, this is the first time this happened in this video. That last one, we didn't have that. You know, we really had to fight tooth and nail and claw our way to victory. But folks, you know, sometimes you just have it. And this is one of those times. Speaking of just having it, we do hit that 66% roll. So we are starting off just phenomenally strong. I don't want to set the Mirror Force here, playing into Heavy Storm or anything like that. And our opponent is going to just go ahead and scoop, seeing our full combo with set. This is really advantageous for our opponent because I don't know what he's playing. So I kind of just put in my standard 7 side cards. I put in 2 Royal Decree, I put in an MST, I put in 2 Lightning Vortexes, and some Book of Moons as well. And now we have drawn the MST, we have drawn the Royal Decree, we have drawn the Lightning Vortex. Lightning Vortex, not so bad against the Forg deck, but Royal Decree, MST, these are not super helpful, especially when I already have Giant Trunade. Folks, this is not a position you want to find yourself in against the Forg deck, is having 3 back row hate for a deck that doesn't really play any real back row. So our opponent is going to go first. He is going to start off with a Moray of Greed, putting back those Death Frogs, drawing into a Dupe, a Foolish, and a Gores. So really fantastic draws for our opponent. He's going to go ahead and Foolish Burial to get that Fishborg Blaster online, and then he is going to go ahead and discard the Treeborn Frog to activate Fishborg Blaster. He will swap Frog, sending Substitute, and then summon Dupe Frog. He will then go ahead and discard the Dupe Frog, summon back Fishborg Blaster, and summon out Flip Flop Frog. So this is a very fantastic start for our opponent. The soft lock is a little dangerous in 2 Gigabytes, I will have to say, but if I don't have a really strong combo right away, Flip Flop Frog is going to prevent me from wanting to commit too much to the board, and he's going to be able to do a really good job coming back with Salvage. So we draw a Gold Sarcophagus. I'm going to go ahead and hit an Armory here for DDR, and then I am going to Gold Sarc for Lone Fire, but I'm going to hold off on activating the DDR. I know that's a Flip-Flop Frog, so I don't want to just, you know, commit like just a Gigaplant or just a Titanial to the board. That'll just get answered right away. And I instead want to wait till next turn to DDR, and then I have my normal summon. So definitely not the best, but you got to work with what you got. And now I'm just hoping that with only 3 cards, he is not going to have quite enough gas to OTK me. So let's go ahead and see what he does. He is going to bring back the Treeborn Frog. summon out a Death Frog. He is going to use the salvage. I see that and I'm like, oh, all right, this isn't good. You can just count up the resources and you know that your opponent does have what he needs to make an OTK. So now it is just a matter of, does my opponent have the will? The will. It's not just about having, the resources. In life, you oftentimes have all the resources you need to succeed, and the difference is, do you have the will to do what it takes to win? So much of life is really just about, making a decision and then sticking to it. I think a really good example of this is in 2022, I actually set out to through hike the Appalachian Trail, which, if you're not aware, that is a hiking trail. It's about 2,200 miles, 2,200 miles, and it stretches from Georgia in the southern United States all the way to northern Maine at the very top of the United States. And something like 3,000 people attempt to through hike every year, and only 25% complete it. So you're setting out to do something like this. You're setting out to a journey that has a 25% success rate. And here's the thing, is when I started, I simply said to myself, okay, I have decided to hike the Appalachian Trail. This is the decision that I have made. And once I made that decision, that was it. Quitting was just not an option. And I met a lot of people, and they didn't have that same type of conviction. They hadn't decided to hike the trail. So they had said, oh, I'm going to go out, I'm going to see how I do. No. You have to decide. And the people that I met and I made friends with that had the same mindset as me, we decided to hike the Appalachian Trail, and we did. And we all made it to the end. And then there was people that we met that just, they ended up quitting for whatever reason. Now, sometimes people get injured. Sometimes people get very, very sick. And those are reasons where I'm not trying to dunk on you at all. That is not a matter of will. There are some things that are out of your control. But the vast majority of people that I saw start the trail and then never finish it, it was a matter of just quitting, just not having the willpower to stick it out. So while I was yapping about that hiking trail, our opponent did decide that he had the willpower to go ahead and push for game through gores, through whatever, and so that is going to be GG, and we are going to proceed right into game number 3. So we are going to go ahead and draw a perfectly serviceable opening hand. No immediate combo, but I'm seeing DD Crow, which makes me very happy. I'm seeing Nettles, which is good too. That means that we can draw not just Foolish or Lone Fire, but we can also draw in SSN. So lots of options here, and let's see what we draw for turn. It is an Upstart Goblin, drawing out the suspense, and then of course we do find Lone Fire Blossom. So from here we are just going to very simply Lone Fire into Lone Fire, into Gigaplant, give the Gigaplant the supervise, and then let's do a little pop quiz here. What are you summoning off of Gigaplant? Are you summoning Nettles? Are you summoning Lone Fire Blossom? And if you are summoning Lone Fire Blossom, what are you summoning off of that? Are you summoning Copy Plant, Titanial, another Gigaplant, or even Dandelion? What would you do in this situation? Here, I actually decide that because it's Forks, I want to go ahead and make Titanial. Titanial is really effective at shutting down all of their big pushes, and we also have a DD Crow. So I don't want to risk missing on the Power Tool Dragon. I think that would be, the low roll, 33%, is too catastrophic, and so it is not worth the risk. A big part of Gigavise is actually just risk assessment. It's deciding, like, okay, how bad, how much am I risking? How risky is it to pass and and not commit anything to the board and get another card next turn? Am I going to lose the game if I do that? Am I going to lose the game if I miss with Power Tool Dragon? So it's all about making those kind of judgment calls. Here we're going to draw a Gold Sark for turn, which is just fantastic. Our opponent has set a Fishborg Blaster. Of course, we don't know that that's what it is, so we are going to try and carefully play around it. So we are going to go ahead and make a Power Tool Dragon at this time. Supervise is going to bring back Gigaplant, and we are going to go ahead and try and hit that 66% roll, which of course we do hit because, say it with me folks, 66% rounds up to 100%. We're going to bring back the copy plant, and then we're going to go ahead and fire the fertilizer at this time, and then copy plant is going to copy Lone Fire's level. We are going to make a Bryanak. I'm worried about Flip-Flop Frog, I'm worried about Morphing Jar number 2, and I also just don't want to give my opponent a search off of Dupe Frog. So we're going to go ahead and make Bryo, discarding the Nettles, and then we're going to try and swing in for game. Our opponent does have Gores, so he will be surviving. He is going to choose to drop the Gores after the 2400 attack, so he's going to still have a monster on the field. Now, in main phase 2, I could use Bryanak to clear the token, but honestly, folks, I'm just not that worried because I do have the DD Crow to answer any Fishborgs or anything like that. So maybe a little bit incorrect. Maybe it would be better to discard the Hidden Armory to clear the token, or even just discard the Gold Sark to clear the token. But I decided that I would rather have a Fertilizer coming for later and keep the Armory and the Crow. So our opponent is going to go ahead and set the stats on his token, and then he is going to discard the Fishborg Blaster to summon out Swap Frog, sending the Substitoad. He is going to go ahead and fire the Fishborg Blaster effect, which we are going to immediately go ahead and negate. So our opponent is going to banish the Fishborg Blaster, and then here we do have some Salt, which is free from any rude words, and our opponent says, imagine not drawing only perfect hands, and is going to quit the duel on the spot. So we are going to win. Now, our opponent here definitely still had some plays. All you have to do is go Salvage for Substitoad and Treeborn Frog. That seems pretty good. And then you can normal summon the Substitoad and make a little dupe lock, and then, you know, with the one dupe frog, and then you go token, run over the Bryanak, so then I don't have that. And then main phase 2, then all you have to do is make another dupe frog, and then tribute the Substitoad off itself for a Flip-Flop Frog. And then all we would have to, you know, we'd have to answer a Flip-Flop Frog and the double dupe frog, dupe lock. So that would definitely be a threat. Of course, we could just Giga Plant, summon back Copy Plant, make Black Rose Dragon, nuke the field, Dupe Frog's mistiming, Flip-Flop Frog is gone, and attack for game. But our opponent was salty and decided to quit the match. So shout out to the salty opponents. I hope you got your daily dose of sodium chloride. But if you didn't, let's go ahead and hop into a live duel. It's Saturday. I don't have anywhere to be. I think it's just going to be fantastic. Let's play one match together, shall we? I lost on yesterday's live duel. You know, that wasn't so good. So, you know, maybe our opponent that we queue into here. Ooh, Riddle Sunshine. Rating 1410. That is a massive rating. We're sitting at 1225 right now. Looking at this, I'm seeing that this is, you know, kind of like a scissor blade. So I think our opponent is going to choose scissors. So we are going to choose rock. And of course, they choose paper. So we lose the die roll. They hit us with a GLHF. And let us... there you go. You can see them. Ooh, okay, fantastic. So we have Lone Fire Supervised, we have Copy Plant, Super Solar, and Gold Sark. What do we draw for turn? We have a Threatening Roar. Okay, I like this here. I don't know what this set is. You know, I don't want it to just ruin my day. Let's go ahead and bring out... keep things simple here. Just keep things simple. Oh, my bad, bro, my bad. Summon that, summon that. got a little ahead of myself. And perfect. Just, you know, I couldn't have scripted it better myself. He is going to go ahead and Torrential Tribute. That also is going to show us what he's playing. It is going to be Machinas. That is perfectly fine. We are going to Gold Sark, banish Trunade, and set the Threatening Roar and pass. So we are in a fantastic position here. That is exactly how I wanted things to go. We dealt with the back row. We got some free information. And now our opponent is going to Gear Frame. We are going to allow that. And he's going to go ahead and Fortress. That's fine. Just kind of talking things out. We get the Trunade here instead of Heavy Storm because that is going to, one, play around Starlight Road. I take this damage all day. That is totally fine. And then two, it is also, if our opponent does have cards to set, like if he knew that he had a Heavy Storm coming, he didn't have protection for it, he's not going to set his cards, so he's not going to give us any information like that. Here, however, we are going to pick up plenty of free information. Now, we are also at a decision point because we have the Threatening Roar coming, but I am seeing no back row. So, I'm thinking that now we don't even have to wait for the Trunade. We can just go right on ahead and start our combo. So we're going to go Lone Fire or Gigaplant, and then equip Gigaplant with Supervise. Use Gigaplant's effect, and here we want to get. We want the Power Tool Dragon here, and we are going to go ahead and get Power Tool. Do we want it in attack or defense? We want it in attack position. And we'll get a Gigaplant out. And then we are going to Power Tool Dragon. Use its effect. 1, 2, and Mark of the Rose seems very nice here. Of course, that is what we hit. Actually not super jazzed about that. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really wanted to extend a little bit further. Oh well. We'll kill the Gear Frame, we will set the Mirror Force, and we will pass. I have the Threatening Roar, so even if he has Heavy Storm, we can answer that. And we have the Mirror Force. If he doesn't, that's going to be a very clean answer to Fortress. Yeah. Goodbye. He's probably going to bring it back. He's probably got a Cyber Eleton or Machina Force. Cyber Eleton's a good card. It's really good at answering these boards that I'm putting out. Oh, just a Debris Dragon, and that is level 2, so that is perfectly fine. Go right ahead. Huh. Interesting. I guess he's just trying to get another search. That makes sense. You know, I can steal the Peacekeeper and put it on Power Tool Dragon. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. Standby. We get the Trunade. Main phase 1. We'll activate the Power Tool Dragon. All good? Little thumbs up. Thanks, bud. And here's a little trick for you guys at home. If you're picking, like, we have to click on one of these DDRs. We saw this one first, which means it wants to be in our hand. So you have to click the second one instead. Just a little tip for you guys. So see, that second one, it was hiding at the bottom of our deck. It didn't want to be in our hand. That's why we got the Supervise there. Now, we'll fire the Giant Trunade. Perfect. Okay, we still have a normal summon. We have a Supervise. We have Mark of the Rose. I think we can play through Gores with this hand, right? Something like Supervise on Gigaplant. Make make an 8, make a Brute Drago, and then yeah, I'm not going to waste his time. This just seems correct. Uh, oh no, this doesn't play through Gores. That's a shame. We could still do Armory Arm here. I think we do still go Armory Arm. Maybe I wanted to go another Power Tool Dragon first. I'm really not sure. Okay, good. He doesn't have Gores, so don't have to worry about it. Anyways, I want to side in Lightning Vortex. I want to side in Book of Moon. I want to side in MST. I want to side in Royal Decree. There you go. We didn't see a lot of back row that game, but the fact that he's on Peacekeeper, like, that tells me that it's a slower variant of Machina. So I am expecting some back row for sure. So Royal Decree seems really nice. MST, I'm expecting Mask of Restrict, almost certainly. Book of Moon, Lightning Vortex. Lightning Vortex are just really nice to like deal with Fortress boards. Like, we don't have, there's some decks that definitely have a lot harder of a time dealing with Machina Fortress, but I don't think like we have the hardest time in the world. But like sometimes it's nice to just have a clean out. Book of Moon, in case we have like fossil dinos or anything like that. It seems pretty good. So let's see what our opponent is going to side. Always nice to win game one, you know? Like, I mean, I 2-0 a lot of opponents. But even just like, I lose a lot of game ones, and then I win on the crackbacks as well, plenty of times. But I do think that it's just like so nice to win game one, because like, what if we'd lost game one and then we see this opening hand with Burt, Upstart, double DDR, Book of Moon? I'm just instantly thinking like, oh geez, all right, we have a lot to go. Okay, he's activating Future Fusion, revealing Gaia. I see Future Fusion and I saw machines, and that instantly just has me thinking like, oh geez, oh gosh, you know, he's on the Overload Dragon stuff. He's gonna dump his entire deck into his graveyard, but no, it looks like he's going to go ahead and get 2 Dandy tokens. So is this actually like quick draw machines? Is this like a quick draw Machina kind of deck? I don't know. There's a giant Trunade. Love to see that. Let's upstart and find something fantastic. Fertilizer, not super great. Let's pass. I have Gores. Is Riddle Sunshine? Is this Sunny? I don't think it's Sunny. I think Sunny's username is just Sunny. I don't know. I don't know everyone's usernames, folks. What can I say? He's going to Stratos and not use its effect, so that tells me that he does not have another hero in deck, so he's just playing the small hero package, and woof, folks. That's all I have to say. Woof. We got Mark of the Rose. Oh, draw phase MST2 doesn't even help us at all. He could just flip summon the Strata, so I'm not gonna waste time putting it down. He's hitting us for 4,000. Now, folks, this hand does not look great right now, but I gotta tell you, if we draw a Lone Fire, or if we draw one of those, a Foolish Burial, this is like, we can do Cold Fusion here. So a whole lot that we can draw. Let's see. I say a whole lot. Really, I think it's 3 cards that we need. So 3 and 32, that's 1 and 11. That rounds up to 100%, right? Guys, like I'm so glad I'm recording these live duels because you can't you just can't make stuff like this up. Okay, let's fire the giant Trunade. There you go. That's gonna pick up the future fusion. That's gonna deal with the Gaia. Yup. And then, do you guys know this combo? Do you guys know how this one works? If you don't, that's okay. I'm gonna show you. We go Lone Fire, effect, summon out Lone Fire, effect, summon out Copy Plant, Mark of the Rose, banish, steal this. We are going to DDR, and we're going to hold this other DDR, so we're going to have to pitch a Furt. This is in case we get DD Crowed. We're going to bring out this Lone Fire Blossom. We're not going to use Priority. We are going to use Copy Plant to target Lone Fire, become level 3. And now this is going to be a 7. So we are going to go ahead and get, I guess I get Power Tool Dragon here. That's fine. We'll use Power Tool Dragon's effect. 1, 2, 3. I want to clear these tokens. I don't want to be messing around here. And now we can use Lone Fire Blossom and go ahead and get Gigaplant. And with Gigaplant here, I think I just want Titanial. Titanial's pretty good into Fortress. I don't think there's no waters that I'm seeing, so I don't think we're gonna get like Miracle Fusioned. And this is 3 monsters, so this definitely clears the tokens and feels pretty strong, especially with a Miracle Fertilizer and a DDR in hand for Crackback. Should have attacked with something else. This plays into Gore's heavy, but there was that Future Fusion. I don't think he has Gore's. Okay. 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 Oh, man. That's game. That's game. What a shame. Bad play. Bad player. Okay. Let's put some stuff back in. Let's put some stuff back in. MST seems good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Judgment. Or Force. Okay. Man. Shouldn't have attacked. Shouldn't have attacked. Probably would have won that game if we didn't attack into Gores. I don't know. Things were still pretty bad. And this is totally fine. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We go Lone Fire. We go Lone Fire. And we get a Gigaplant. And this has been an entertaining match. I'm having fun with this one. I hope you guys are enjoying this match as much as I'm enjoying playing it, because this has been a super fun match. Here we go. Get our Power Tool in defense position. Get our Supervise up. Get our Power Tool activation. Let's find this. I saw this one first, so we're going to click on that one. Look at that. I'm so good at this. I think we just here activate Supervise, summon Titanial in defense. He doesn't have anything to run into with Fortress. Yeah, I don't want to make a Stardust. That seems good. Go ahead, dog. No back row. I'd like back row. What can you do? You can't have it all. You know, I almost feel like maybe like getting Mark of the Rose would have been better there, because that makes the DDR, the Dandy, like super live. It's a pretty weak board though, just Power Tool Gigaplant. Oh wow, discarding Dandy. Look at that. It's getting destroyed, dunked on by Lightning Vortex. Maybe you don't have another machine. Maybe you can't summon the fortress right away. He does. Okay, so it is the quick draw deck. Oof, 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 oof. Yeah, so even making Stardust there, we lose to Fortress Crash with Stardust. But like Stardust in defense, that's terrible. Gold Sark. We're so back. We're so back. We have actually never been this back ever before in our lives. This isn't real. I've decided that this set is not real. We are just going to have to Gold Sark or Gigaplant. And then DDR, discard Dandelion. It was real. That's not good. That's not good at all. Maybe summon the quick draw. This is terrible. Losing all of our shit. And he gets the Drill Warrior to boot. Starting a Compulse. Okay. Super bad for us. Upstart. Dust shoot. That's no good. All right, GG. Good game. Still above 1200. Really super punt. Let's watch that replay. I want to see if we had not attacked in game 2 into Gores, how we would have done. Show both. I remember all of this. Man, what a punt, you guys. What a punt. YungPuntz is real. So there's our beautiful combo. This was a really nice combo, too. Yeah, I think that third game, honestly, it would have been better to hit the Mark of the Rose. Have another card in hand. Okay, so here we go. So if we don't attack, we'll see what he draws too. Still has the Gores in hand, and then he has a Compulse and a Bottomless and a Sidra. So he can Sidra. Well, okay, he'll just Lightning Vortex, discard the Future Fusion, and then we just have a Gigaplant, and then that's just Gigaplant into Bottomless Compulse. I mean, obviously it's better to have not attacked into Gores there. Yeah. Okay. So take note of that. Like, that was a situation where if he has Gores, we lose. And, you know, you could talk yourself into your opponent not having Gores all you want, and it's just really bad to attack into that. So, shame on me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's... I know I just said shame on me, but it was a shameless Hypebeast Gigavice content video. I hope you guys enjoyed the salty duelists at the beginning, and I hope you guys enjoyed this match that we played here. Shame we couldn't win, but that is what happens when you play poorly. All right, you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you tomorrow with some more shameless Hypebeast Gigavice content. Subscribe if you haven't already. Take care.